the stream. Fucking hell! Oh my God! What absolutely disgusting it!
Come on and try it, arsehole. Best get out of the way before you get a slap.
Oh, they're gonna feel that hit in the morning if they wake up. Fucking wild blow!
You think you could take me?
Absolutely disgusting blow. Absolutely nobody saw that one coming. Unless you did, then you just made yourself a proper lumpy bit of dosh.
Congratulations on your great victory. Now that you've helped them, they might be willing to talk to us.
That gave me the tingles.
Auto drive now enabled.
This is London Calling. You're listening to me, Tash, on Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. This time we're turning our focus back on the media to look at my former employer, the GBB. As we know, the broadcaster has been through a lot of changes since the Hassani government gave in to pressure from his corporate backers and privatised the corporation. Today, the GBB is a shadow of its former self. It's become a tool
Auto
used by the
drive now
government to
disabled.
circulate fake news and misinformation.
Auto
So how
drive
did we
now
get here?
enabled.
Where did it all go wrong? How can we tell when our national media has become state propaganda? Our experts speak on conditions of anonymity for their own safety. Here's disinformation and media expert Charles, who's seen free broadcasters built up by journalists and torn down by demagogues all over the world.
So before the media fragmented, there was this voice of authority that was trusted and worthy of trust. Then what we ended up with is a really commercial model where whether you're talking about an app on a smart device or whether you're talking about a broadcast, the most important thing was to keep for the longest amount of time possible, and because that meant money in their pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling or keep you listening or keep you looking for more information. The second is that that kind of environment favors sensationalism. And so you got more sensational headlines and more sensational stories, and it didn't matter whether they were true or not. It just kept people in, and it kept them in the loop. So we ended up in a situation where nobody trusted anything, and nobody believed anything at all. And that is the perfect environment for an authoritarian voice to come in and say, no, wait, we are the truth. So the ground for this environment really got created when we had suddenly authoritarian politicians everywhere, and anything that threatened them or they disagreed with, they would call it disinformation. That's disinformation, that's fake news. And again, we got in a situation where nobody really believed anything. And the trouble is if you were telling the truth, it's very hard to get your message to cut through all of the noise of all of the disinformation that's there. So like, you know, you remember Out on the Edges, there was this story about when they would take a house by force, they would take any infants and they would crucify them. And that's a great, fantastic, viral story. And how do you counter that story? With the truth. The only way you can counter it is by saying, no, they didn't. And of course, no one wants to spread that story. No one wants to hear that story. They want to hear the sensationalism. They want to hear how people were victims of violence when in fact they weren't. Or they were victims of insurgent forces when in fact they weren't.
The news isn't neutral, it's a battleground. Here's media researcher and academic Alfie.
The media has, of course, been perhaps the key way in which governments have controlled and influenced their populations. So, totalitarian countries have typically used huge mainstream media outlets to sell one kind of news, one kind of biased news to its population. Of course, the media has always played this kind of key role in methods of state control. I think what's happening now is perhaps even more concerning, where you previously, in pre-crisis Britain, we had perhaps more diverse voices in the media, but now with the GBB, you're really only seeing one brand of news and therefore only getting one truth. So people end up with a very biased and controlled idea of the reality and the world that we're actually living in.
Just about there.
Of course, many concerns and many problems, but in a way there were some positive things that, like, not all information was coming from one place, and so you'd have kind of
Auto drive now disabled.
outlets developing, and then left-wing media outlets developing to combat those, and then kind of challenge the mainstream newspapers, TV stations, radio.
All right, you're here. Let's find the thing.
Questioning the validity and truth of the information they were receiving. So whilst there was the digital...
Getting a closer look. Fuck! I'm right in your shit! This is fucking well off! Oh shit! I'm fucked! Yeah, I'll have a look. Shit, I gotta move!
All right, you're here. Let's find the thing. Get in close.
Looking for some action, eh? In you go. I want to hear that energy, folks. I want to hear the love and the hate. Get hype. The fighters step into the limelight. Take a look at those faces. Place your bets and strike them. Fuck it. And that's a hit. One for the record, folks. Fucking hell. Seriously. No one will be able to get up from that. Oh, I can taste the tension in here. Our fighters are ready, are you?
If I'm gonna bust you
Better
up.
be. Bets are closed and we're ready to roll. They're getting murdered in there.
I try and make it look like a...
Almost knocked their teeth right out. Oh, that didn't look like it fucking hurt. We're back at it again, folks. The only game in town worth your time. Society's crumbling, institutions fumbling. Come and see a couple of fighters take it out on each other. Oh, shit! And that's a solid blow down. Oh, now that's what I'm talking about. Solid strike from a solid fighter. I want to see some excitement, folks. This fighter doesn't let anything or anyone get in his way. He'll run you over. Buckle in for some fisticuffs. Whoa, that didn't look like it fucking hurt. They're getting murdered in there.
I hope he can put up a good fight. I really do.
Oh shit! Could that be the win right there? Oh my god! What absolutely disgusting! Did you all see that monster hit on the stream? Fucking hell!
You hear that? You hear them screaming for your blood?
Almost knocked their teeth right out!
I hope he can put up a good fight. I really do.
Oh, now that's what I'm talking about. Solid strike from a solid fight.
You think you're all bad, yeah?
Hello Britain, this is the bug, the show that holds up a mirror to the world and smashes itself in the head with it in despair. I'm Andy, joining me, as always, Alice, and...
I deny everything.
Good state of existence. Some good news, at last. There are no medicine shortages, according to the government, none at all. There have been various allegations about that. It turns out they are all fake news, trademark. There are none. There are no shortages of medicine. Don't take it from me. I'm not a medical supply expert. Take it from our beloved government. It's fine. In fact, I'm going to read between the lines here and actually say there's too much medicine, if anything. Just medicines. Medicine. You can't move for medicine. In fact, just this morning, I tried to pour some cornflakes into a bowl for breakfast and out-tumble a 12-month course of immunosuppressants, corticosteroids, and anti-retrofungal neurodilatory estrogen spermatotropic fruit pastilles.
The people claiming there are medical shortages are probably high on lots of medicine that they've binged. I for one believe that there are no medical shortages, Andy. Just last week I went in with a broken arm and they suggested it might just be extreme period pain and prescribed me a drink of water and an astrology chart.
We can't be too far away from them just prescribing stiff upper lip like that.
Emergent call. Possible hostile at your location.
Monitoring for unusual activity.
It's not true. It's hospital hogwash. It's pharmaceutical fling.
You're listening to The Bug.
May cause nausea, vomiting and headaches.
Putting an end to the chase.
Hello Britain,
now.
this is The Bug, the show that holds up a mirror to the world.
Target is no longer with the vehicle. Over. Control, I can't see the suspect. Please advise. Control, let's get some patrol units on standby. Any sign of the target? Anyone?
All units, we are after the suspect. All units, force this suspect.
Use a pursuit intervention
Drones
technique.
deployed to arrest the suspect. There's our suspect. Over.